Okay, so it's Wednesday, the 4th at 8 o'clock. And today I'm going to go live. So I think there's plenty to talk about. We'll see what people want to talk about, but I think that there's plenty to talk about. But the things I want to start out with is for one thing, God, last night was rough. Oh my God, last night was so rough. And it wasn't just Stella waking me up constantly, it was my own body. It felt like my body was, I don't even know. This happened before and I've tried to explain it and I don't know how to explain it. But it's like my body's under attack or something. Like the energy field is, I don't know, trying to dissolve my body, trying to take me away from here. I'm not sure what the hell is going on, but it was so uncomfortable. Oh my God, it was so hard to sleep. And Stella was having such a hard time too. But then again, we were outside and they were out there just making the sky just so much going on up there. And so is it the energy? Is it the Schumann? Is it the sun flares? Or the sun flares? Is it the whatever is going on up there? I don't know. It's just like, man, last night was rough. I was having crazy dreams again. Every night is the craziest dreams. And it's so weird too how I think like, oh, I'll remember this. I can't remember. I remember that there was a couple of spiders, and spiders have a message. And so, but I don't know what the message is. But that's something I got to kind of like sit with myself in communication and ask those kinds of questions. What is it I'm supposed to be getting out of this? And, for me, I know that we're kind of split in how we feel about time right now. Like some people think that January lasted a year, and some people think it lasted a week. And I'm on the things are speeding up side. So to me, everything is going faster and faster and faster, which I'm just can't wait to get. I really hope there's some significant things going on by the 17th, and I saw Amy sent me a bunch of videos. That's the only ones I've seen. I spent so much time this morning trying to cut the back of my hair. It is so freaking, it was so easy when it was long. Now is like, oh my God, it's so hard. And now, and then I'm always finding more pieces, and then that makes more. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to a hair place, and I don't want to. God, I've had my hair messed up by so many hairdressers, and so I keep trying to do it myself and trying to do it myself. But anyways, I spent so long this morning trying to cut this line back here straight. Oh Lord. And I have no idea what it looks like. I was looking in the mirror, but it's really hard to see. But anyways, I spent so much time last night doing it, and then I was doing so much time this morning doing it. I was like, oh God, I just gotta find somebody and go. And then just tell them follow the what I have, but if there's pieces that are just all whacked out, I just want it to be kind of straightened out. So but anyways, that the okay, so the entered the 17th, the I don't remember how I got off on my hair. So I'm trying to go backwards. So I went spending time on my head. Oh, because I haven't been a lot on TikTok at this point. I had just seen the videos that Amy had sent me. And so one of the videos she sent me was, but I saw a ton yesterday. And I had lots of conversations yesterday. So I have some things to talk about from that. But the ones that she had sent me this morning, that one of the ones was somebody like on a podcast or an interview or something, talking about how the glass that you look in. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just switch those words. And it's a technology in the black ops of military or whatever. So so they can look in and see the future and stuff. And it seems that, from what I've heard, is that the bad guys, that they've had it for a long time, and then somehow the good guys got it. But the bad guys kept trying to mess with things because they know something's going to happen and they don't know how to stop it. And so they've tried to keep messing with time, supposedly, and that could have something to do with CERN. Who knows? You know, maybe we'll find out about some of this stuff. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But then the good guys got it, and then also all this stuff how it's playing out is supposedly was put into a quantum computer. And what they're not, the thing is people think this is all about finding out that the government's bad and stuff like that. No, this is about your soul pulling free from whatever your reality is. And so it's about the awakening, it's about the harvest, it's about the ascension, it's about the elevation of consciousness. So it's not just about like finding out, oh, the government sucks. Yeah, that's a given. So anyone who has got control over you is going to eventually suck. So anyways, so the guy on the interview was saying that they had called him in, some tech specialist or something, to try and look into something. And I don't know all the stuff he was saying, but the thing that stuck out to me is he said because there's some event that's coming that they are trying to stop, but they can't stop it. And it is this event that changes everything. And I've been saying this and saying this and saying this for so long. I feel like I'm trying to stretch it. And Archie's decided we're a team. He's got to be with me all the time. He's just like, now when I say, Archie, move, he's like, no, I'm just going to sit here. I did the other day and you let me. It's like, oh, should have never done it. But man, I feel like I'm trying to stretch up. I got to push this down a little. I really need to spend more time doing yoga or something. My back is fuckery. So anyways, there's this event that's going to happen, that's going to change everything, is something that is there's something that's going to happen. And they don't want it to happen because it causes this mass awakening. And so they want to keep us under control. And so they dread this, but they can't stop it. It's like I've said, it's a cosmic event. It's the pendulum swinging back. It's coming back. You can't hold it over there. It's coming back. It's just the way energy works. And that's the thing, is like what you've been putting out is going to sweep on back at you. So it's going to be a lot faster karmic turnaround, kind of, like, if you think about it. But oh my gosh, I got this weird tingling. I'm getting the most weirdest sensations. I don't know what the hell. But my body is like, what? It's like, I don't know what's going on. So anyways, but yeah, I feel like time's speeding up. I'm in that group for sure. And something weird. But anyways, so this event is getting closer and closer. Who knows if it comes on the 17th? Who knows if it comes today? Who knows when it's coming? And who knows what it is? Is it an earthquake? Is it the sky opening up? Is it, who knows? Like, there's so many things, up in the air at this point. There's so much on the table. And so it's just kind of like, relax and see. We came here for this ride. We came here for this experience. So surprise, surprise, here it comes. And so it's going to be whatever happens is supposed to happen. So and it's going to have an aftermath that's going to create the big change in humanity. And so we'll just have to see, which I've said a bunch of times. I think it's going to be something really drastic, like a big natural disaster, like something really horrific happening. But I could be wrong. It could be Jeffrey walking back on the stage, and I mean, who knows what it's going to be. So but it's going to be a big, it's something that changes everything. So that's the scale you got to think of it on. Just as, that day in September, 20 years ago now, is it changed everything in our lives. There was also a day in, back in 2020, it changed our lives forever. So there's been events that changed our lives forever, and this is going to be one of them. And it's going to not just change our lifestyle, but it's going to change us. We are going to change. And so that's definitely coming. And And that isn't just because I heard them talking about it. This is something that is like out of the book of one. It is it's out of other prophetic uh, prophetic dialogue, narrative, whatever. So it's out of other things. It's a lot of different things. It's out of I don't know, QHHTs. It's out of spiritual teaching. Like, it's a lot. But this big change is going to happen. So I think, that's the thing that people should be more focused on, but they're not. And so when it comes down to, the files and stuff, so now that not only, where they drag in Donald, and I mean, everybody gets to think what they want about it. I got to go with my own instincts, and I think that it's not true. And it's fine if people think like I'm a nut who's not paying attention, because, I mean, that's already for sure that I've already, I mean, I have one daughter keeps sending me this stuff. I'm like, no, mom, listen, no, mom, it's like, and I'm not going to argue with anybody about it. It's like we all get to have our own opinions, but I got to go with my own instincts. And, that's the way it's been for my life. I got to follow how I feel on the inside. I can't go against it. And so, yeah, I think that he didn't do this stuff. And I have my own reasons and everything. So maybe we'll talk about that later this afternoon. But we'll see, how the conversation goes. But definitely, I am on the side that I don't believe certain things out of these files, which, kind of funny enough, one of the videos I got this morning also was a report, an interview from Fox. It's on Fox, but it's all these different ones talking to him. And it just happens to be one of the C ones is asking him a question. And he says, asking about a couple of the people that have been called out on this, in this file thing. And he's just like, well, I don't know. Something like, well, we'll see. I mean, how do we know it was something like, how do we know it's true or whatever? We'll see. Oh, I've got other things to worry about. And kind of like, if it's true, then they'll get arrested. It's like, well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. And so, which to me, a lot of the people who he's pulled up on the stage is to bring them into our site. And so I think he does know about a lot of the people who are on there, and they just so happen to be out. He had to hire them so that we would know who the fuck they are. So I think that, but it could also be that it is a part of trying to massacre him. So, but in this conversation, he said, well, nothing bad's come out on me, so that's good. Or something. No, he didn't say it like that. He said, so nothing bad has come out on me. And that's, I think he did say, so that's good. And, which, it's like, dude, he's got to know what has come out. He's got to know what's going around, because there's a huge amount of people who are very focused on those pages. And that the rest of the pages are like, well, we'll talk about those later, but let's just focus on this guy, because, they can't stand him. And that's what they were looking for. That's what they wanted this to be released. They wanted to find out about him. And they don't give a shit about most of the other ones, which I guess Jay-Z and Beyonce took a big hit yesterday too, as they lost like millions of followers. And then people on Beyonce's is just attacking her. Like, you knew he was doing this and all this stuff. So yeah, it's going it's going downhill for them. And then supposedly Jay-Z's taken off on a plane and gone off to go into hiding or something. But oh yeah, and also in the files it has come out that in the emails and stuff, that's not Joe, that's a guy in a mask, and that mask is malfunctioning. We got to do something about it. So see, that's all coming out. No matter how crazy I sounded saying that, no matter how crazy I sounded saying there's a fake sun, no matter, like, I've been saying stuff for a long time, and I haven't been crazy so far. But yeah, I don't see, I think there's something, I don't know why they would do it this way, why they would have him, and how it's going to be for people to be able to differentiate between what's real and what's not real. But that's part of our awakening, kind of, and part of, where do you align and why do you align and what is it you think and why do you think that way. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know, because people who would say, well, he's just that arrogant. So, he doesn't give a shit, and it's all this stuff's coming out on him. And I say, I'm still on the alignment of, he was one of the informants. He was one of the ones that was taking these people down. It was, he was a part of that whole thing. And so, yeah, I don't think he was doing the stuff that they said he was doing. But anyways, we'll see. I mean, I can be wrong. It's, I can live with that. It's not going to break me or something. I mean, this is a wild time. So you got to be able to go with the flow, and you got to be able to be what's true to you, and be, and what's true to you is partly in alignment to what it is you're here to understand about yourself or express about yourself or heal about yourself or something. So, don't try and change how you feel to be more in alignment with how somebody else feels. Be true to you and how you feel about something. And so, anyways, yeah, I'm going to still stick with I think the stuff coming out on him isn't true. And not because I'm, oh, he's my savior and I love him so much. I didn't even VOTE in the last one. It's like I've stopped believing all this bullshit. And so, yeah, I'm not one of the people who are just, he's here to save us. No, I believe he's here to be a catalyst to show us what's out there, to show us the truth, to bring stuff to the surface. And I do think that there is a big component to the people who have worshiped him because we can't worship anybody. We have to, the only person we should be worshiping is ourselves. And so there is a part to try and move people out of the direction of worship. And I have seen people being like, oh my God, I can't believe I VOT'd him. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm really embarrassed now. It's like, everybody gets to go through what they need to go through. And so, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. That's something that the other team seems to really be needing, is for people to realize, like, I told you. I mean, you guys may have told us all this stuff, but I told you he was going to be bad. And it's like, okay, we'll see. That's all I can say. We'll see how it turns out. And, but yeah, there's a big whole thing now about people realizing that, the conspiracy theorists were not conspiracy theorists at all. They were just people who were trying to spread awareness and attention onto some really sick stuff about, who's running this world. And the people thought it sounded too far-fetched. It sounded too crazy. So it made us all look crazy. And where are you even getting your information? Off the internet? The internet lies. And so we all had to go through that for years, being called crazy and having people laugh at us and tell us that we're nuts and all of this stuff. And I told one of my daughters, because, they've apologized and stuff, is that, one of the hard things is that you had to be alone. You didn't have anybody to talk about this stuff. Like, they all have each other to talk about all this stuff now. When you were going through it, we had this. We didn't have, family and stuff to talk about. Like, can you believe this is so horrible? Because people are losing it. People are really falling apart. And I remember, when I was finding this stuff out, yeah, it was hard to sleep at night. It was horrible. And so another one of the videos she sent me was that this is a part of the psyop to keep people in the distraction, which makes a lot of sense to me, because people are so consumed. And you got to go through your ride. You can't stop it before you go and take in everything you need to take in. So don't, follow your heart, follow your gut, follow your instincts. But but yeah, I do think that is a part of the keeping people in the struggle, keeping people in the pain and suffering, and keeping people in this darkness of energy, and that they'll keep you there as long as they can keep you there. And so, all of this stuff to be released. And this girl was saying, because what is it that hurts us the most is hearing about kids being hurt. And we lose it. And so they kind of like, they knew that that's what would happen. And so, which kind of, in the attitude of Donald were, well, we need to move on. We don't need to keep looking at this stuff. We need to move on. See, what would a catalyst do when they're really trying to get you to wake up? When they really want you to focus on yourself and not just focus on all this dark shit. So they would say that, but it looks different ways by different perspectives of where you're listening from. What is your perspective when you hear it? And it's going to sound different to all different people. But yeah, to me, that when I hear him say some of that stuff, it is like, yeah, you can't just stay in this time when you need to be healing and focusing on yourself in this depths of all this stuff that has happened around us. You can't just stay there and keep going over and over and over and over it, because it will keep you in that energy. It'll keep you in the sadness and the darkness and stuff. So you have to be able to pull yourself free out of it. And so that is definitely a part of it to me. And so, yeah, I think there's something to that. And then even when it goes into, that letter that where so many of us originally started getting information from when the stuff started coming out, and it was all these drops and stuff and people talking about it and then going and doing the research. And the whole thing was about follow the white rabbit, go and do your research, look at things more, don't believe what you're told, all of these key things. And so there was so much information that was coming out. And that's why, like, when they sit there and say, like, like that one guy, he is Harry, to all of a sudden say, oh no, that's a good guy. Nope, that's a good guy. When we all looked all that time ago and they were bad guys. It's like, and then he laughs at people. He's really smug about it. Which now Tom's been gone a long time. But in this Tom storyline, he is now being pushed out of Greece. They don't want him. And there's more things going. There was a whole thing about like Tom's house. A lot of these people's houses just burned down, and probably in one of these fires of like the Palisades or whatever. And so, what gets destroyed in fires, a lot of evidence. So, anyways, more stuff on some of these people and him. And but I think that, yeah, they do want to keep people focused on that and keep them in the sadness, in the feeling bad and horrible, because that is the dark energy. That is what is holding people. And they don't realize like the grasp it has on them, and that how much you have to break free from that, because they still have you trapped in their world as long as you keep focusing on their stuff. It doesn't matter to them, doesn't matter what it is, as long as you are there, you're there, and they can feed off of your energy. And look at how much sad energy there is that they have to feed off of right now. So anyways, I do think that's a big part of it. But then when it comes down to that letter and them now saying in the emails and stuff, well, that was created. So that kind of how it was being told to me, because I've heard people talking about it. And my daughter was telling me beforehand, because she was like, yeah, but we couldn't believe the stuff you were saying, but that was a part of the whole thing. That's why they made this leak, this letter, so that it would sound so crazy And then they would put it on the news and say that we were all crazy and that it was not true, so that all these other people wouldn't listen and believe us. And so that they had done all that on purpose, that whole thing, which, yeah, I believe that. I believe that they, would start taking that, like, because, I mean, there was people, like, even back when I was on Next Door, and I would talk about it. Not talk about that stuff, but every time I would talk about anything, fucking, what is his name? I used to say it all the time. I can't remember his name now. Tom or something. But he used to always call me, uh, what was it? Kelly with a Q or something. He was constantly telling me I was in a cult and I was crazy and all of this stuff. He would just completely attack me. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. You seem to know more about this than I do. And so who's the one who's obsessed with this? Like, what are you fucking talking about? Every single thing I say is coming from that. And so, so that's what they were doing, is getting all these people to go in that that direction, and then to attack us all and tell us that we're all crazy because they were putting it on the news or whatever, that we were a bunch of cult following, Trump loving, crazy people who wanted to believe wacky stuff. And then so everybody was more comfortable believing that than they were believing the stuff that we were saying, because they built up such a big phenomena around the craziness of all of us. And so, and my daughter said, that was a part of the problem. And so to her, it seemed like that has to be true, because it was really a big part of the problem. It was like they were telling us that this was so wacky, and then you were believing it. And so, anyways, but I don't think that they made up that letter and all of that stuff, because all of that stuff was true. And I don't care what Harry says now. I think he's like some kind of a psyop. He's like some kind of a, I don't even know, like some of these people, like because they seem to be like leaders and, in some direction. Like he was big on the, in that certain movement, and then all of a sudden he started like flipping and being like, oh no, that's a good guy. Oh, you're so stupid, you fell for it. No, that's a good guy. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? We all, do you remember we were all looking into this stuff? Yeah, well, you fell for it. And so yeah, I guess I did. And so he said that the so I believe that the letter thing is true. I believe that the information that we saw is true. I believe that, oh yeah, because that Aaron Parmas now or whatever, now more stuff is coming out on him. So people who were following along with the stuff he was saying, there's more going with him. And he's been a big one on the Blue News, and kind of giving a direction of how to look at things. But there's more stuff on him. I bet you there's going to be more. Like, I don't know what Harry's deal is, but the whole thing is, when it comes down to it, is we all need to think for ourselves. That's the big part of the awakening. That's the big part of the connection to yourself and remembering who you are, is not just, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of this stuff doesn't matter. Why get too hung up on it? Why do you get too caught up in it? And I think that is a part of what Donald's trying to say too, is like, we got to move on from this stuff. We can't just sit here, because that is, I mean, and we are on a fucking time thing at this point. And that's why still, when this event happens, it's going to be so significant, because there's so many people who have not been doing the work, who have not been focusing on themselves, that have just been, like the tail of the dragon. They're just getting whipped back and forth emotionally. And they're not, they're just, their ride is out of control, and they are being driven by, it's like their ride's been hijacked. And so it is, oh, I knew that was coming. But I don't need to talk as long this morning, because we're going to be talking again in a little while about the same stuff, I'm sure. But anyways, so the that's the thing about the ride is, you know, for you to take over as the driver, to stop letting them steer you, because they've got your emotions whipping back and forth and you don't have time to heal and to go through things, which they really fucking spoiled the cream cheese situation for me now. That really irritates me. It's like, shut the fuck, why did you even have to fucking say that? God damn it. It's like, yeah, how do you go back and eat something when they've already said that? It's like, God damn it. And I know a lot of people are gonna feel that way about a lot of stuff, with a lot of the food. And it, okay. And they're not saying cream cheese is what they're saying, but they're saying that what certain things that taste like cream cheese. It's like, God dang it, people. Fucking weirdos. But yeah, I'm not gonna go test out the, you know, I've got no desire to eat little babies. So anyways, but that's the thing, is that there's a lot of stuff that has got, you know, people tore up, and they'll keep you held in that position, and that is being held prisoner in the dark. And but it's you who has to break free. It's you who has to let go and be like, well, you know, whatever's happened happened. And to keep focusing on yourself. Well, how does it make you feel, you know, and what do you need to let go of? And don't let this world be the burden to your soul, because they want to keep you trapped. As long as you are in that emotional, uh, emotional deliberation, like as long as you are being controlled, being held captive by your emotions, then they have control of your soul. They have control over your consciousness. They are leading it how to think. Oh yeah, and all more stuff, you know, more of the science and stuff. I mean, they've come out now and said that their agenda behind the, you know, getting kids to decide to be different genders and stuff like that, that they had done that on purpose, and they wanted to get kids that were 3 years old to do it, and that was a whole thing, which I think that was easy to see. I mean, I some of this stuff, it's like, I don't know how you can miss it. But yeah, but there was a lot of people, you know, who believed it. And so, yeah, that's come out that they did all that on purpose. And that they were definitely doing a bunch of stuff about cloning and mind control. That they were figuring out that they could create, like, something about if they broke you bad enough, it made you start having more gifts, like telepathy or something, which there's more to that too. And so not just, you know, what they were doing or saying, but that I have heard before of like people who have come from really hard childhoods, that it created an awareness in them that other kids didn't have. And I definitely think that's true. Excuse me. This is like how it's just been for days. And they're all just on top of me all the time. It's like, oh God, I'm gonna lose my mind. And which I gotta not talk like that. I gotta not say that. And that's one thing too in our language to be aware of, is because I know saw another person. The one I talked about a couple weeks ago, I think it was Chinese or Japanese or something, and they say stuff like, sadness is going through me, anxiety is going through me, or something like that, where we say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. So we claim it and be it. You become whatever you claim. And so it becomes a part of you. So we have that in our language, but this girl who was studying Arabic, and she said that they talk like, saying that same thing. It's like the sadness is passing through me, and you know, anxiety is passing through me, and stuff like that. They don't claim it as what they are. They say it's something that's going by them, but it's not something that they are. And that is something that, we do need to be really aware of how we talk to ourselves. And I have been aware of this lately because I have been saying this more. You guys are going to make me insane. I'm going to be insane and stuff like that. And I got to stop because, yeah, I'm letting them drive me crazy and I'm claiming it. So I've got to, claim something new. Change directions. But that's the thing about the awakening and awareness is the main thing is you're the main player. You're the one where you need to focus. You need to focus on you, your bad habits. What do you need to do? How do you need to fix your life? And not be distracted by all of the shenanigans that they want to keep us drawn into. But yeah, I did know that there is that kids can become super aware of things and super sensitive to things through trauma and traumatic events. Well, now over the ranch or whatever in New Mexico or whatever, they also discovered this through trauma and stuff like that, that they were creating gifts in people. Because that's one thing is a lot of people who have been abused and stuff don't realize like that the gifts that they have created and that were created by that everybody wants to look at things, well, it's just all bad, but everything is bad and good. There's good and bad in everything. There's not just one thing. And so like this stuff that's happening is really bad, but then the aftermath is really good because it's getting us all to come together. It's getting us all to agree. It's getting us all to, start conversations with each other and talk about things. And so there's, nothing is just one thing, just like we're not just one thing. This world isn't just one thing. Everything is a duality. And it is, it's not just so you go into one direction because you can go too far in one direction. The thing is to find the balance between the two, to find where your safety net, to find where you fit in, to find where you feel comfortable, and to find your own comfort zone, to find your own balance, and to not be in this, because there are going to be people who are going to be super depressed and won't be able to get out of bed. I mean, because, a lot of us went through that. We couldn't sleep. And how could this happen? Why are these people in jail? And so, so we'll see, how this is going to continue. Like, is this where they're going to be like, okay, well, yeah, these people were arrested and they are gone. And, we just wanted you guys to see, I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to play. I don't know all the different things, but yeah, there's lots and lots of stuff that's coming out that is, sounded crazy to people for a long time. And it's just going to keep bringing more of the truth to the surface. And then also even, on the Donald thing, especially because this big thing, of what Nikki is doing. And she went on the side of Donald and then started exposing all these other people. Well, that would be kind of weird if she's exposing all these people that are on that thing, but she's standing with Donald. So it's like, that's another thing too, is like, to me, I just got to follow my instincts. I just got to go with what I see, what I feel, how I think about it. And yeah, I think that there's, I think there's something weird about the whole thing, but I don't think that he did the things that they're accusing him of. And, and a lot of people are like all on Sasha Riley, but I remember when everybody was on Stormy. So, and that was all, finally came out. That was all a bunch of bullshit. So, and think of how far that went. I mean, she's talking about his penis, and she had people making fun of him and all sorts of stuff. He likes to pee on it. Like, that went deep too. So, anyways, it's like we're in the midst of the storm. You got to find your own cover. You got to find your own umbrella. You got to find your own safety room, safety zone. And the big thing is they'll keep you in the trap as long as they can. I kind of see it like those sticky mouse traps or something, you know, and they kind of got everybody stuck in this emotional stagnation of pain and suffering. And, you know, how do you get off of that mousetrap? How do you pull yourself free? Because it's pretty damn sticky. And so it's up to each of us, just like I've said. It's up to, you know, it's up to you to get yourself out of the hole that you find yourself in. And so I think a lot of the thing too is, you know, kind of like the guilt and stuff people have to face, because there's stuff like I saw somebody talking about that, you know, I saw a lot of this stuff back in the 90s, and people just ignored it. They didn't, you know, they thought it sounded too far-fetched, and they were putting it into our movies and shows and stuff, and people were like, you know, I couldn't believe that that could be true. So then they start feeling the guilt of like, oh my God, I knew about it and I just ignored it. I ignored the victim. I ignored this. I ignored that. And so people are feeling their own pain from their own guilt. And that is a part of what, you know, people need to process through. You got to go through the process. And so, and there's a lot, man. And some of us have just been doing it for a long fucking time. And so, you know, no shame on the people who are just finding themselves in the depth of hell. But they can't just remain there. They've got to pull themselves free. And so, you know, it's like you got to put out your own fire. So, so anyways, we got all that going. There was, the snow is melting now, and it's not melting right, and it's looks like spider webs or something. It looks really funky. And so, yeah, I mean, just wash your hands after you touch it. Like all this stuff, like, man. And who knows if that's not the big thing that happens, is some sickness. Like, man, I couldn't believe yesterday they were going to town over here. Like, what? I think a lot of times they do it at night, but boy, they were just didn't give a shit. They were just going to town yesterday. And I hadn't seen anything like that since I'd been here. I even talked about it the other day. I don't ever see them out there doing that. Boy, yesterday was different. It was wild. And there kept being a helicopter that kept going around, which I thought, well, maybe there's like a helicopter training or something, which my brother sent me a video the day before. So that yesterday the helicopter was going all over here. The day before, my brother sent me a video of where he was at, and they were in a rescue for a crashed helicopter, and a guy had gotten killed, and they were having to rescue him out of the water. And so he was sending me a video of what was going on. And there was another helicopter there that was trying to go down and get and then all the firemen and stuff. So it's just kind of another weird synchronicity. And he's talking about that. And then all of a sudden we have a helicopter going around and around and around here all day. And so, and then also all that business. And then every morning it is like a frozen tundra out there with the dark fog. So yeah, the sickness is upon us. So I don't know. Whatever, that could be what is the big thing that comes is but then you would think like that would be the big reason to introduce the med beds then too, is because, you know, everybody's sick, everybody needs them. So I don't know, you know, I mean, I can think of lots of different ways this could play out, lots of different opportunities, lots of different examples of how it could go, but we gotta just see. We don't know, you know. That's the thing, is we could guess all day long, but, you know, it's going to go the way it's going to go. And so when we're in the stormy, you know, we're in the storm. And so, and who knows what is going to go, like, I mean, they're going to be, you know, when they're sitting there talking to me, he's like, yeah, well, nothing came out on me. And, I mean, there's got to be something you say, dude, there's some bad stuff that came out of, like, it's kind of curious to see how this is going to be played, because, yeah, and if the quantum computer told them to play it out like this, then it's like, there must be some kind of thing about to really get people, whatever it is that comes from it is more important. So it's however it gets people to be affected is more important, because that's what everything is about. It is about this uh, this consciousness. And the thing is people don't realize, like, we are powerful beings that have been trapped by other beings that tricked us. Like, we got tricked. And we got tricked into not understanding our own power. We got tricked into being, and lots of people, because we're referred to so much as Gorham, or however you say, Gorham, Gorlum, Golem, whatever the fuck. We are referred to so much about that in the files. And so a lot of people have been talking about that, and the references like cattle, like something that doesn't matter, something that you just eat or whatever. So see, they're very much like, they look at us as like this really low, garbage. And the thing is we are spectacular. We are high and mighty. We are eternal. We're powerful. And they didn't want us to remember that. They wanted to keep us trapped. And so that is what everything is about. It's not about what they did to us. It's not about the things that they've been doing to us. It's about us coming back to ourselves. And that's the big takedown. That's what takes them down, is us remembering who we are, and to get out of the trap of that they've tried to keep us in. And the way they look at us, they look at us as like we're so nothing, and that they think that they're so much over us. But the thing is that they have been over us, and we have done stupid shit. We have been ignorant. We have been shallow. We have been superficial. We haven't been spiritual. We have been violent. We have been easily led. And so, that's a big thing of having to face, because each of us have played a part. And that's a part of you that you have to face. And we're essentially, you would think, we're running out of time. Like, this event, this situation, if it's the solar flare, whatever it is coming in. It's coming in hot. It's not waiting. It's not going to wait for us, the weird thing is like our energy creates it. So it's like we build it up to the point of happening, and then that changes everything. But it is, but the reason it changes everything is because it is so, it's so spectacular, so phenomenal. It's so unexpected. It's so, the thing we need. It's it is the change, because of the not seeing it. And so people don't realize, like, all of this storm is our energy that is creating all this stuff that's happening. And so all this earth changes and sun and stuff like that is this energy, our connection. And that's why they've tried to control it and make us create the reality that they want. But we are, misfiring in their reality, and we are blasting into our own. But that's the significant change, is because the people don't see it. And so that's like a big slap in the face that happens. So it's like this giant, the universe comes out and like slaps you awake. And that is what changes everything. And so, and it's getting closer and closer and closer. And you can feel it. You can feel the tension, because you can see what's happening on the planet. And we're creating it. We're causing it to happen. And so if you get what I'm saying, I don't know if I'm making sense, but it makes sense to me. But yeah, it's like and it's funny too, because it is like people create things that they don't want to happen, but they make them happen because they don't want them to happen. But in this, people are freaking out, which is causing all this tension that causes everything to create a rift in our reality that causes the change to come. But it really, even though they don't want things to change, it's going to be the best change that has ever happened. and it's it's written. It's like we're in the replay. It's already happened, but we are in the slowed down version. We're in the replay, so it's going to happen. And so whatever this event that's going to come is going to be what it is that shakes everything up. And so it's hard to say what it is. Which yesterday, I just want to say about this too, is I made I was calling it before, I was calling it taco meat, but really it's taco, what did I think of it? Not taco stuffing, taco, whatever. I can't think of the word that I thought of that I was like, oh, that would make more sense than meat. But anyways, so stuff to put in a taco. And what I did was I sauteed an onion. And then when it started getting brown, I added in garbanzo beans, a can of garbanzo beans, and which some people call them chickpeas. But then start cooking them, and then I smashed them, and then I put tons and tons of like spices on them, and then made them spicy and stuff, so to make it kind of like a taco stuffing or whatever, like a meat kind of stuff to put in the tacos, and it turned out really good. Like if you're trying to not eat meat, you're trying to do different things and stuff, which beans have a ton of protein and stuff. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff you can use chickpeas for, garbanzo beans. You can also make like a tuna salad, and it comes out tasting a lot like a tuna salad. And you just put all the same stuff in it you would for a can of tuna. And it comes out tasting like tuna salad. And then, so there's taco meat too. So there's certain beans you can do a lot of stuff with. I got the sickness. So you've got certain beans that are very, oh, that's the plane. There's a plane that goes over, like, I don't know if it's like a farmer or whatever, but I know there's, somebody had said something about, there's a little tiny, what are those things called? Not post office, airplane place. What are those places called? International, jeez, I can't think of what they're called. But the little places where planes are, but no big planes. It's like a tiny little airport, a tiny, tiny one with little tiny planes. And it's, just down the river or ways, because somebody is saying that some of this stuff is, they'll do that so that the birds fly off, so when they take off they don't hit any. And so that could be, but there's tons of that all over the place out here. But anyways, yeah, there's this one of these planes that goes by all the time during the day. But yesterday it was all helicopter, and I don't know what was going on with that. So anyways, let me think if there was anything else that, but we're going to be back later today and talk about more of this stuff. And but that is the thing, is, you really got to figure out, where you stand on things. You got to really release yourself. Don't be just caught in the drama, which a lot of these people are going to be caught for a while. But also, you got to also look at it as like, well, when we first saw about it and stuff, we were caught for a while. So we were kind of stuck in there for a while. And there's a lot to digest with everything that they've released. And I think there's going to be more and more and more being released, because, the truth is coming out. And the truth is coming out, though, the thing is it's coming out for everybody in your whole life. And that's where, you can't just focus on the dramas outside of your life. You have to focus on the stuff in your life. And that is where you're going to, find the part of, because the main thing about this stuff, in this awakening, it's not just being awake and realizing that this place is bad. It is purging all of the badness out of you so that you can move forward into the goodness. You can't carry this pain and suffering. You can't carry this darkness. You can't go into the new, you can't go into a happy place as a mad, sad person. You got to purge that stuff out. And that's where, where it's like you're running out of time. You got to really start focusing on your emotions and, getting them under control and not letting these people control them. That's, I don't know how else to say it. Maybe I'll think of another way to say it by this afternoon. But I imagine that we'll probably talk more about this afternoon, because it definitely is on everybody's mind. It's consuming social media. Everybody's talking about it. And it is exciting, finally, that we do have, it did get everybody's attention. More and more people are talking about it. More and more people are realizing. Oh, yeah, there's another thing I did want to say. Because, that movie I talked about, that little love story. It was two gay guys, but it was such a good love story. It's so much about love. I really liked it. And that's something that we've been missing in this world for so long. Everybody's so focused on lust and what they can get from people and stuff. But this is like this really love story. And and one of the characters, both the characters, people have just fallen in love with them. And people love these two guys. And one of the characters is Connor. And I think he really is gay in true life. If he's not gay, he's probably bisexual or whatever, but he's definitely, he seems more flamboyant and stuff, but he's just, oh, he's such a cool guy. And he has been trying to, he decided he wanted to be an actor when he was a little kid, and he did little videos, like there's little videos of him as a kid coming out, like he talk, like he's just a character, this guy. And, he looks a lot like Patrick Swayze, I guess. Everybody wants him to play Patrick Swayze and play parts of remakes of what Patrick Swayze movies and stuff. And he's very good. Like, it's shocking when you see who he is and the character he plays in Love Story, because he's this big, tough Russian guy. And he's nothing like, he's not even Russian. It's like, it's so crazy. But so he's really a really good actor. Anyways, they have him on schedule for Saturday Night Live at the end of the month on the 28th or something. And I was like, oh man, I don't know. Like, it's just, to me, Saturday Night Live is like, it's not all fun and games. It's like the people who run that shit are not good people. And one of the things is, it's almost like we're going to witness him going to the crossroads. It's like, are you going to sell your soul, or are you going to stand in your integrity? Because that's the thing, is like that these certain individuals want you to degrade yourself, to sell yourself out, to do whatever, that the golem would do to, for financial gain, give up all their integrity, give up everything about themselves. And so it's kind of like, I feel like we're going to be witnessing somebody at the crossroads. Is he going to, I feel like they're going to try and get him to do things that are going to be degrading or humiliating, and seeing, is he going to do it? And and that's one of the things too. And I think it's out of the files or something, or if it's just somebody who was talking about it or whatever. But that was the thing, is that they would break these people, and they would get them to do the most degrading things, and then they would put them on a stage, and we would all sit and worship them. But they had like the secrets about the people, and so it was very amusing to them, of what that they would get these people to do, and then we would all sit there and worship these people. And so it's a part of their thing, is to, somebody who's up and coming, get them in there and break them, humiliate them, degrade them. And so anyways, I was kind of like, oh man, and I know a lot of, actors and stuff like that. They're like, oh, Saturday Night Live, cool, cool, cool. But I just think there's more to this stuff than, just the opportunity to go have fun on a show and do skits. I think that there's more to whatever's going on. So anyways, but I'm curious. Now I haven't watched Saturday Night Live in a long time, but I'm gonna probably watch that night I probably won't stay up late to watch it. I'll watch it the next day or something. But I think that is what is more of what that is. It's like we're going to witness somebody at the crossroads. Like, we're going to get you. You're an up and coming. We got to get a hold of you. We're going to humiliate you. We're going to degrade you. And so anyways, I hope that he doesn't sell out. I hope he chooses himself, because he seems like somebody who would, but I don't know. It's like people get really caught up in stuff going on sometimes when things start taking off. So anyways, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with everything, you know. It's like we can't miss it. Even if you die, you're gonna still be standing there watching the whole thing. You know, we're not gonna miss this. Nobody, the whole universe, the whole galaxy, the whole cosmos is all in on this. You know, we're all a part of this big thing that's happening. So, and it's all the parts. Every part is it's like the wheels and the spoke in the wheels. It's like all of the gears in the clock. It's like all of it goes together. And so it's all the micro macro of the universe. So anyways, so we'll see what today brings us. We'll see, you know, what more craziness keeps coming out. And then, but we'll be back this afternoon to talk about it. So we'll be going live, like 1 o'clock my time, I'm pretty sure. You know, if we're not live 1 o'clock my time, then it would be 2 o'clock my time. And so, because that would be 2 o'clock Central Time if we go at 1, and then 3 o'clock East Time, and 12 o'clock Pacific. And so, so otherwise it would be an hour later than that. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be at 1 o'clock. So we'll be live later today, Crystal and I, and we will, but all I can say though is how I say it every day. The main thing through all this awakening, all this remembering, is it's all about you. And it's all about you learning to love yourself. You just cannot get through those pearly gates unless you are going to love yourself. You cannot cross that bridge. You cannot get into the new room unless you love yourself. Because you got to be able to love everybody else. So you got to be able to love yourself. You got to be able to love everybody else. And you got to be able to have emotional control over yourself. You got to be able to figure out what do you focus on, and when do you pull back, and when do you look out, you know. And it's all these things that are happening are the opportunities to test yourself. So, you know, the whole thing is, everything is about you being able to fine-tune yourself. And that's where the focus needs to lie, is self. So anyways, but we'll talk about it later on the day. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.